You're listening to the Empty Nest Empires podcast, episode number 5. Okay, here we go. Did I save the best empire building pillar introduction for last? Or is it the worst? Money. Finances. Let's tackle this one for a couple minutes, shall we? Okay, your nest is empty, or it will be within a few years. So now what? Whether you know it or not, we are building empires. Empires of faith, family, fun, fitness, and of course, finance. And those empires are the legacy we leave for our loved ones. I'm Tammy Romani, an empty nester mom, grandma, and entrepreneur with a vision for ever greater things in the years ahead. It's never too late, and there is no limit to what we can do. I'm so happy you're here. Now let's get to building. Love it or hate it, the idea of leaving a legacy always comes down to money. For most of us, anyway. Yes, the point of this podcast is that we do build empires in so many different areas, which is why I've introduced the 5 pillars of empire building. And we will tell stories from all of them. Fitness, fun, family and friends, faith and finance. But that money thing, it's the one that haunts us, am I right? This will probably be the shortest introduction you've ever heard because what can I say other than just start telling the stories? You know, maybe you've done just fine in this pillar of empire building, or maybe you haven't, or maybe you are somewhere in between. We will talk about all of it, and we will hear stories from the planners, the non-planners, and even those who have successfully turned their finances around, even as late as their retirement years. Get ready for some ideas, some strategy, and some insight. And now just a few of the questions we need to tackle are you ready for retirement? Are you ready to quit your job? Do you feel like you will never be able to retire? Did you invest wisely or live paycheck to paycheck? Did you teach your children about money or are they floundering as young adults? Are you generous or do you feel like you need to keep every last penny because doggone it, you earned it? What will people say about your money skills when you're gone? Do you even care? Does all this talk about manifesting and attracting money really work? And by the way, where did our money mindset come from? Did your parents live through the Great Depression like mine did? Did you grow up hearing your parents say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, and what do you think I am, made of money? And finally, is it possible to rewire your brain to have a different attitude about money and maybe lighten up on the self-imposed pressure a little bit? Oh boy, money, finances. Whew, we will talk to experts and non-experts and hear their stories and their advice. And then, it's up to you whether you take it to heart or not. We will discuss business ideas, how to crack the code in online marketing. And let me reiterate right here, you are not too old, and it's never too late. Now, I might go on a tangent right now because this is one of my pet peeves. Every week I hear someone say things like, oh, I don't do email because, I'm old. My mom learned how to email in her 80s, and she was delighted to have a new way to connect with people because, it was so much easier for her than handwriting notes. I think, personally, if my mom was still with us, she would have had a blast doing live videos on Instagram and Facebook. So I want you to lose that limiting belief, okay? You are not too old, and it's never too late to learn something new. So like I said, this one is a short one because what really more is there to say? I cannot wait to see what shows up as we unpack and learn some new things together. So I hope you're ready. I hope you've enjoyed these brief episodes to introduce you to the idea of empty nest empire building. And I hope you've already subscribed so you don't miss an episode. And while we're on the topic of subscribing, a 5-star review would totally make my day. You know, it's kind of like leaving a tip in the digital tip jar for a podcaster. And you know what? If you'd like to hang out with me more than just one day a week here on the podcast, we should totally connect on Instagram, which is my current favorite social media platform. I'm on the other ones too, but you can find me at Tammy Romani on every single platform. Right now, most of my time is spent on Instagram. You can message me there too. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so here we go. From now on, we're going to dive into interviews and stories, and we're going to further our talk on these 5 pillars of empire building. It's going to be a blast, and I am so glad you're here. I'll talk to you next time.